Hello everyone. Hello my lovely Facebook friends. So today, welcome to my live today. So today I am very excited because I have just received a big box of paints and it came with a hat. Look at this. It's called a glamouflage, I don't know, hat, because look, it's butterflies, the camouflage bit. Can you see? They're butterflies, see? And it's got ladybirds in it. So I might wear my hat or I might not. I think I might not wear my hat. But anyway, I've got a new hat and I've got paints, which is just a lovely box of joy. Who doesn't love paints? So, well, I love paints anyway. And if you don't love paints, well, I don't know why. Why would you not love paints? So today we are going to talk about one of the commonest questions, which is, how do I connect to my guide and why is my connection sometimes hit and miss? This has got to be the most common question that I get asked probably on a daily basis. So this is for you if you just want to connect for yourself. This is for you if you want to, if you're working with clients and you hate that, oh my God, what if I don't get a connection moment? So why does this happen? And what can you do about it? So the first thing you need to understand is how we connect to spirit, to source. So I might need to draw a diagram. I don't know. I might drop a picture in there. Maybe I'll drop a picture I'll do that. I'll drop a picture in the link in the comments below later. So for the moment, you'll just have to imagine I'm going to use my hands to describe. So first thing to understand is the mechanism for spiritual connection. If you understand how the engine works, then you can fix it. Then you understand why it's not working when you want it to. So the way our minds work is that we have this idea of we actually have three aspects of our mind. Sometimes it's referred to as three minds, but it's really three aspects and three ways that they work. So the first is, number one, our conscious mind. Now, this is everything we're paying attention to right now. So this is our conscious, what we're looking at, what we're hearing, what we're actually paying attention to. And it's very fluid. So now you're hopefully paying attention to this. And oh, by the way, if you have any comments or questions, pop them in the little comments box. If you're listening to the replay, don't worry, I will come back, still post your question. I'll come back and answer it later. Don't worry. So first of all, we have our conscious mind. And now this is what we pay attention to, and it's very fluid. So you're paying attention to this now, and now you might be paying attention to something else, and then you're paying back attention to me, and then you might be thinking, oh, I wonder what I'm having for dinner, or for breakfast, or what time shall I go to bed, or shall I see that movie tonight, or whatever it is. So it's fluid, right? The ideas flow in and out of your mind, and so your conscious mind is what you're paying attention to right now, and it can be, what's your birthday? There it is. Now you're paying attention to what your date of birth is. And things ping in and out of where do they come from? Comes from your unconscious mind. So your unconscious mind is pretty much, a lot of people use this term subconscious, and a lot of people think about it like, well, here I am and I'm here and I'm my conscious mind, and over there is this other thing and that's my unconscious mind, and maybe one day I'll get to talk to it. Doesn't work like that. Your conscious mind, unconscious mind, they're always communicating. Now, how well that communication works varies from person to person and from time to time. Now, your unconscious mind is everything else. It's your memories, your emotions, your patterning, your blocks, your limiting beliefs, your negative emotions, did I say memories? I can't remember. Well, anyway, memories. So there's a whole bunch of things that relate to your unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind is pretty much everything you're not paying attention to right now. So if I asked you, what's your phone number? You could remember your phone number. Well, maybe you can't, because these days it's all programmed in, isn't it? But you might be able to remember where you left your phone. So if I asked you that, you'd be able to hopefully bring that into your attention, into your awareness. And what that does is what's happening there is that memory of what's your phone number or what's your date of birth goes from your unconscious mind into your conscious awareness. And then you can allow it to flow out again. So all of or every single memory that you ever had about everything is always stored in your unconscious mind. What you don't all necessarily have is instant recall to it. And we all know that feeling when you walk into a room and you can't remember where you got in there. I've got this theory about that. When you stand up and you walk into a room to go and get something and you go, what am I here for? I know what it was. I got this idea. I think these memories are stored in your bum because you go, don't worry, I'll go back to my room and whatever it was, and I'll sit down again. And as soon as you sit down, the memory that was in your bum gets squeezed out back into your brain and goes, I remember. And then you have to stand up again and go get it. So the thing is to, I don't know, walk around holding your ass. Maybe that's obviously not true. Well, maybe it'll work. You know, let's give it all a try. The ass holding memory bank system or not. So back to spirit guides. Now, then you have this other part of your mind. This is your higher self. So the ideal is conscious mind communicates with your unconscious mind. So if you imagine your conscious mind is like the center part, then you have the unconscious mind all around it. And then beyond that is your higher self. Now, this is the part of you. Sometimes it's called your holy guardian angel. Sometimes it's called your soul or your spirit. I don't get hung up on the labels. It's the part of you that is source. So it's the part of you that is spirit within your being. Now, again, your higher self is communicating with your unconscious mind all the time, and that information flows in and out. Now, here's where the problem starts. So here's why you have hit and miss communication. So the first reason is maybe you don't have great communication between your conscious and unconscious mind. And that's why almost every single spiritual school says meditate, trance work, hypnosis. So they'll do things like, so that, you know, like a lot of, you know, they'll teach you to go into a light trance. So a lot of spiritual schools will do that so that you can communicate with your unconscious mind. Now, which absolutely works. And we always recommend meditating twice a day for about 20 minutes. And you know what? Maybe I'll do a Facebook Live on meditation. I'll write that down later. I'll remember that. So first thing is get good communication between your unconscious mind and your conscious mind. And this also involves developing trust and kind of agreements. One of the reasons our unconscious mind doesn't talk to us is because we're not always honest with ourselves. So we might say one thing and then do another. And then because we've said one thing and we're doing another, what then happens is our unconscious mind goes, well, hang on, I don't know, like, does she want me to talk to her? Or maybe she doesn't. Or it's like, so your unconscious mind gets confused. So one of the ways is to be very congruent and very aware of the messages you're sending your unconscious mind, and to just ask. Now, one of the things I notice when people are trying to communicate with their unconscious mind, one of the things I notice is they say things like, well, let me see. So I'll ask them a question that they need to get from their unconscious mind. And it'll look like this. Let me think. It was maybe, now, that's not it. That's not what unconscious mind communication looks like. That's you trying to figure it out. And anytime you're trying to figure something out, guess what? You're not in your conscious mind, in your unconscious mind. You're in your conscious mind. Because your conscious mind is very logical and it likes to figure things out, likes things to make sense. Now, here's the thing about your unconscious mind. There is always some kind of logic, but it may not be immediately apparent, which is why we often reject information that comes from the unconscious mind, because we don't necessarily have all the full picture, or we don't have the whole story. So we kind of get pieces of it. It doesn't always make sense in one hit, and then we don't trust it. So then your unconscious mind doesn't give you the rest, and then you just end up being really confused. So increase connection and communication with your unconscious mind. And you do that via meditation, dream work, writing down your dreams, automatic writing, spending time in silence. Stop checking your phone and wait till my Facebook Live's finished, and then go and spend a moment in silence or in darkness, because that's when it's like when everything's turned off outside, your focus can't be outside, so you go in. The other thing that also can help is repetitive activities. So things like I do a lot of craft and painting and knitting, and these kind of they are fairly mindless. They require very little attention from my conscious mind, but just enough to distract it so my unconscious mind starts having a chat with me and sending me images and pictures and ideas and insights. And also things like running and cycling and those kinds of exercises that are repetitive. And also there's lots of benefits for exercise, really, for conscious unconscious mind integration as well. So we've got our conscious mind talking to our unconscious mind. That's good, right? Should all be done. Not quite. In your unconscious mind are stored, as I mentioned, it's the domain of your emotions, and it's also, it's where any of your patterning happens. So this is where you might have your limiting beliefs and your negative emotions. And essentially, anytime you have a negative emotion about a particular event or experience, that will stop you making that and having that connection. So if you have any negative emotions or limiting beliefs around connecting to spirit, you won't be able to connect to spirit. That will block that communication all the way through to your higher self. So here's what that might look like, or how you might experience that. You're about to do a reading for a client and you suddenly get nervous. Nerves are anxiety, which is a form of fear. Fear is a negative emotion that blocks the connection. So what you need to do is you need to learn to release that and stay present to yourself and be totally okay. The only way, be totally okay with whatever happens. And by the way, the only way you can actually feel fear or anxiety is because you're actually in ego at that moment. Because one of the ways that I'm such a pure channel, and that sounds a little bit egotistical to say that, but it's not because I'm an amazing person, which obviously I am. I mean, that stands to reason, right? But it's also because I just meditate a lot and I do a lot of clearing work. So it's just, it's just like, why can she play the piano so well? Probably because she practices every day. Why could she be such a pure channel? Probably because she practices every day. Same deal, right? You could be better than me if you wanted. Just practice more than I do. So, and just do it more and trust and surrender. So the only way you can be a really clear channel is to have no attachment to any of the information that you get. Oh, people are liking that one. So you have no attachment to any of the information that you give and how the client responds to it. So if you kind of go, oh, I really hope the client likes my messages, well, that's going to actually, then you're going to be in this attached to the client liking the messages or me getting it right. Now, the thing with the messages is there's no right or wrong. There's only, is it useful? So only hold that intention that it's useful. And again, when you do that, when you get out of that, that idea that there's right or wrong, it's just useful. One of the other things is, it's probably for another whole thing is, but I don't give information that people can work out if it's accurate or not, because, and I talked about this when I talked about high level and lower level psychics and lower level guides. And the thing is, it's like, I don't want to guess something, it's like, I'm not going to guess what color your undies are, because that's not very useful, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, aim to give what's useful, most empowering to the client. The more intention you have on doing something, sharing something, expressing something for your client that will empower them, the more likely they are to just receive that, and the more likely you are to be able to connect with your higher self. So negative emotions, and these are, and limiting beliefs. So other negative emotions are just things like, so sometimes we've had a traumatic experience in the past. I know I have, and I've released the emotion from those experiences. Have I released it all? Well, as I said to my coach once, I said, I've released everything I'm conscious of right now, and that's the best I can hope for. And if more becomes conscious, I'll release that also. Because we have a really powerful technique that enables you, that we use in Psycademy, that enables you to release those negative emotions. So here's one of the reasons people think, oh, meditation's bad because every time I try and meditate, I get all these unpleasant feelings. All that's happening is your unconscious mind that's been disconnected from your conscious mind is finally going, you know what? I think you might want to pay attention to this, and you might want to get it resolved and maybe release it. So that's one of the reasons that we use the process we use in Psycademy, because if you release all of your negative emotions, your fear, your anger, your sadness, your hurt, your grief, your loss, your pain, when you release that, your guilt, your shame, that actually is a way of releasing your ego. It actually removes that from your unconscious mind. That not only does that assist you to connect better with your conscious, unconscious mind, but it also makes a clearer channel. So if you think about conscious mind, unconscious mind, higher self, imagine if you can just have free-flowing information in and out of your conscious mind like that all the time. So the final one I want to talk to you about is this idea of limiting beliefs. So if you have any limiting belief around your ability to connect, about your connection, about whether or not you can do it, whether you deserve it, whether you're a good enough spiritual practitioner, whether you are going to get empowering information and helpful and useful information, any limiting beliefs around that, and that might sound like, I can't do it, I can't do it all the time. If you believe you can't do it all the time, then guess what? You will create the experience of not being able to do it all the time. A lot of people think our reality is, so we create our beliefs based on our reality, and in fact it's the opposite. Our reality is an expression of our consciousness and what we believe. So if you're experiencing not connection, somewhere in there is a belief around you not being able to connect. Now, I'm going to give you an opportunity for those of you who would love to, and I know we get lots and lots of questions about this. How can I experience a connection? How can I experience a connection to my higher self? And how can I experience that process, that emotional release process, which we call higher self therapy? How can I experience that? Well, in just a few weeks' time, the 3rd to the 5th of November, we're running an event called How to Be a Six-Figure Psychic and Spiritual Leader. And in that workshop, we are actually going to release, you're going to find, and we're going to release all of your limiting beliefs and negative emotions that you're conscious of and willing to release on that day. Now, one of the great things about this is, because I know we get questions, it's like, well, I know I've got a block, but I don't know what it is. Well, here's the good news. Because we'll be working together on that event, live, interactive, even better than this, what we'll be able to do is I and my coaching team will be able to support you to find and pinpoint that limiting belief. Now, we're going to do this not only generally for your life, but also specifically for that, finding the beliefs and emotions that stop you connecting. And yes, I'll pop a link to the event so that you know how to read all the details. I'll pop that in the comments. So not only will you be able to release generally your big limiting beliefs that are influencing all your life and those negative emotions, we're going to do it more specifically also for beliefs and emotions around your spiritual connection. And we're also going to do it for your issues around money. This is really, really important right now, that spiritual practitioners and psychics really step up into this role of spiritual leaders. I'm going to share on another Facebook Live exactly what it means to be a spiritual leader, and are you a spiritual leader in disguise, and what's going on the planet, this kind of evolutionary shift to awakening, how you can support it. And one of the ways is spiritual practitioners need to step into their money power, because broke people don't have as much influence, much as we'd like to say, oh, I'm wealthy even though I haven't got money. You know what? You still will have more impact right now. And longer term, I'm going to share on the event some of the stuff that's going to happen longer term with money, which is really, really powerful and extraordinary. But where we are right now, you need to have access to funds so that you can step into your power. And we need to get over this crap around money. We need to stop thinking, oh, it's not okay to charge. We need to just get over that, because it is okay. Not only is it okay, it's actually your divine right. And in fact, not only is it okay, this is how you step into a role of leadership. Who do you trust more as the leader? The person who's, able to support themselves and feed themselves and their family, or the person that's saying, oh, you know what, I think I need to go on benefit, the person on benefits who, or, is homeless. And, there's no judgment of that. It's just, it's about you having the power and the ability to make those kind of choices. You will help more people. Everyone wants to help people who can't afford it. Well, becoming broke is not the way to help broke people. That's like saying, oh, the best way to help sick people is to be sick. It's not. It's to radiate your health to them, so that, and be this expression of health. Who helps more people? The healthy people. And answer me this question: when we think about wealth, who's the better custodian of money? The non-spiritual person who does it, owns money and uses it for out of greed and judgment, and because they maybe not, they don't have people's highest good, or the spiritual person who has somebody's highest good. Like if spiritual people who have everyone's highest good as their, that's their most high, their highest value, that's what they're aiming for, that's their intention, that whatever happens is for everyone's highest good. Wouldn't it be better if more of those people had more money right now, so that they had more influence in the world right now? Okay, so if you're thinking yes, then you probably want to get yourself to how to be a six-figure psychic and spiritual leader. We're going to blow out your money box. You're going to get a ton of other stuff as well. You're going to get things like, we're going to show you the hidden secrets of the tarot, so you can learn how to do tarot readings in a way that are totally always empowering and always problem solve for a client. You get access to things like the psychic diet. So, oh, Leslie's saying, well said. Thank you. Thank you. I do get passionate about this, and I don't apologize for that. I think this is so important right now. In fact, later this week, I don't know whether it'll be tomorrow or the next day, but this week I'll do a Facebook Live on what's happening in the world and why spiritual people really, really, really need to step into their money power so that you have the influence. It's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it together. Okay, so what else are we doing on the event? Okay, we're doing the higher self connection process. This is an initiation where we bring your higher self into your body. Now, this is the other way that you know, the next step, like once you've done the clearing of the unconscious mind, let's bring the higher self into the unconscious mind. So you remember I said conscious mind, conscious mind, a little bit here, unconscious mind, higher self. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the higher self so it connects with your unconscious mind, with the seat of the unconscious mind. Don't worry, you don't need to understand it now. So that I'll explain the process on the event. I nearly went into that. You don't need to do it today. So that the higher self and the unconscious mind are fully integrated, so that every cell of your being is your higher self. Your higher self will feel like it's inside of you all the time. None of this, oh, it's out there. It becomes within. So now if you feel really called to do this, then I'll pop the link in the comments box. That's where the comment section below for how you can join us at the event. We are coming up to the event, and there's some things you're going to need to do before the event. So when you register, make sure you get into all the course area, our online course area, so that you can do there's just some things that you need to do to get ready, and so you're fully ready for the event. Also, in that course area, we'll tell you where the event is, which would probably be useful, I'm thinking. So let's just see if we've got a few minutes left. Are there any questions? Oh, Leslie says, so looking forward to this. Me too. Yeah, me too. Do you know, I feel like I'm kind of energetically already halfway there. It's like I'm not really, like I am here in Cornwall, but I'm already halfway in Windsor. So the event is in Windsor. It's on the 3rd to the 5th of November. Make sure if you've already registered, Leslie, I know you're registered, make sure you're in that course area and you've had a listen to the webinar I did, which is all the instructions are there, and it tells you exactly what you need to do to prepare. One of the things is you need to go through the higher self therapy process at least once. You don't need to, but it would really be super, super beneficial if you did it at least once, if not more, before you attended the event, so that we can go really, really deep. So if you have any questions, pop them. Oh, Leslie says she loves my top. Do you know, I like this top too. I thought I'd be circly today. You know, when I was saying I am amazing before, I thought, because I'm wearing a circly top. So yes, I love going off topic. That's me. That's my unconscious mind going, whoa, look, squirrel. Actually, just as I said something, a bird went woof across the road. So hi, bird. Look, bird. Okay, so 3rd to the 5th of November in Windsor. I'll pop the link in. So we're going to do complete emotional release, releasing your negative emotions, limiting belief, connecting with your higher self, and we're also going to do some of the nuts and bolts business stuff. So you can get yourself starting to think like a business person rather than an employee mindset, rather than a just scraping by mindset. So that's what we're going to be doing. So if you have any questions or comments that I haven't answered here live, still pop them in there. I will answer them later on. And till I see you, lots and lots of love. Till next time. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.